going on there, guys? We're back with another one, and we got to talk about Kendrick Perkins' comments at Charles Barkley today. Now, guys, we know Charles Barkley and Kevin Durant. This thing's been going on for a few years now, and I remember when Barkley was critical of LeBron going to Miami. You know, LeBron made that "What Should I Do" commercial, and he poked fun at Barkley. I'm not a role model commercial, and you know, whatever happened, but they've gotten over it in the years to follow. But KD is not one to easily let these things go, and he feels like Barkley is ringless, and he's talking like about the bus driver and why KD career isn't up there with the other greats. Even though he's a great, he's saying that there's tears, and KD, until he wins one without Steph, you know, he's not in that upper echelon. Well, Kendrick Perkins seemingly did not like those comments, and he has responded on First Take today, and this is what he had to say.
Only people that try to degrade someone's championship is a person that never won a championship.
Yep.
Because they don't know the journey and how it feels. And I'm talking about former players that try to knock another player that then won a championship and they haven't accomplished a damn thing. And it may be talking about another person like Charles Barkley, who has been going at Kevin Durant. You don't know how it feels to win the championship because, damn it, you haven't done it. And damn it, you tried to go to the Houston Rockets your damn self and team up with Akeem Olajuwon because I'm from Texas.
Kevin Durant.
He's very sensitive, great player. He's part of that generation who think he can't be criticized. He's never looked in the mirror and says, man, was that a fair criticism?
We're in agreement. Today's players are a little more sensitive to criticism than your
That would be
generation.
an understatement.
About me specifically. If that was about any other player, that shit wouldn't even have hit like that. You know what I'm saying? But Charles Barkley said that about me, and like I said, disrespecting my game is a part of the storyline. You know what I'm saying? So like that's gonna hit for my storyline more than anything. But like, who's even looking at the game that way? Like that's how Charles Barkley looked at the game, and that's probably why he didn't get what he wanted, because he thought it was all about being a bus driver. When we all sitting on the bus together. You know what I'm saying?
We didn't have social media, so it was rather, it was like what somebody had to say in the stands, or, you know, and that's where the effect came from. Other than that, it didn't bother. Now, I will say this, Charles Barkley had some things to say about me once or twice, and yeah, it bothered me. It pissed me off a little bit as well. But, you know, it's just a different time, and at that time, you just kind of
Do you
take
think
it
he was being unfair to you, Vince?
I felt some of the things that he had to say was, and you know, it was kind of like, you know, it was what it was, and you know, it's like, all right, whatever, and you kind of just like say what you got to say. I'm gonna do what I got to do, and you keep going. But yeah, I felt some of the things that he had to say was slightly unfair, but you know, it is what it is, and I think KD sometimes lets social media affect him and what's being said, because he's always on it. A lot of us aren't always on it to where people are saying stuff and it doesn't affect him. And I think sometimes he lets that affect him, particularly Charles Barkley.
So, man, you heard from Vince, you heard from KD, you heard from Chuck, and you heard from Kendrick Perkins. Now, what I will say for Kendrick Perkins, I get tired of the argument that Barkley tried to go to Houston to win a championship with Akeem and those guys when Barkley was 33 years old and he was headed in the down part of his career. No one gave KD any grief for going to Brooklyn and bringing Kyrie with him and adding James Harden, you know, to try to have that big three. No one was critical of that in that way. But it was just going to the Warriors when he was 28 years old in his prime with a team that was up 3-2-1 on them is what people didn't like about that. You know, it's like, where's the competitive edge? Why wouldn't you want to beat them? Why would you want to go win with those guys? You know, beating LeBron in that setting isn't as impressive. You know, you have the superior team, the superior talent around you, and the machine itself, you know, they were able to contend and potentially beat LeBron, you know, without you. What I'm saying is they probably could have got like a wing down a level from KD and still won. Say if they got Paul George, who is extremely good, he's not KD. If they would have got him at that time, they probably still could have beat they could have still beat LeBron and them. So what I'm saying is your services weren't needed for Golden State in that way. Yeah, it ensured that y'all won, but the series weren't competitive, and it was a clear disadvantage for who you were going against at the time. So it's not the same thing as Barkley going to the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? Barkley was on his way down. This wasn't Phoenix Barkley no more, and this certainly wasn't Philly Barkley either. So there is a difference there. Just because Kendrick said it don't make it right. Nobody gave KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen much grief when they joined. They were in their 30s. Hey, it was time to try to win a ring, because you knew that team wasn't going to be a dynasty. They were too old. So why not try to get you one? And oh yeah, by the way, KD for KG. You remember that's how all that worked out. You know what I'm saying? He ended up, through that trade with Ray Allen, KG, and KD, through all those transactions, KD ended up in Seattle. So it worked out for everybody. And it would have been interesting to see KD win a title for the Nets organization somewhere where they didn't have one, But again, KD's leadership gets called into question. That whole debacle up there, he and Kyrie never took charge as a leader of the team. And we were all just sitting back waiting, like, who's going to step up and be that guy for them? Harden kind of had a foot in and a foot out the whole time. It seemed like he wanted to be in Philly. All his guys from Houston were over there in Philly, like front office guys. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted to be over there with that. So KD, man, I think he has a golden opportunity. If he were to win one with the Suns, that ring would be looked at totally different. I mean, if you just look back at LeBron, the Cleveland ring is looked at as his best ring still. You know what I'm saying? To this day, it's clearly tiers to the rings. They say, Miami, when they talk about that, they talk about the experience of Wade, LeBron, and Bosh coming together. They talk about that Cleveland ring, it's just special, him being drafted by Cleveland. And the story of him coming back actually works out in the long term of everything, with him coming back and winning one there. Now, I say this, and some people don't agree, but this is just how I feel. Like when LeBron went to go get that ring in Miami, those two rings, and KD went to get those rings in Golden State, as far as winning a ring after that, it takes the pressure off some, because no matter what happens, you already have, quote unquote, a ring. So you don't have that pressure to get over the hump in the same way. So I feel like, this is just me. I just don't feel like it's as hard or as much pressure as like Jordan winning that first one in, Chicago, or even Giannis. If you want to bring it to modern day, Giannis's ring in Milwaukee, a lot of people have been trying to get Giannis to join their franchise. You know what I'm saying? And he stayed there and he got that one. So I'll always look at that one better than KD's two in Golden State. I mean, that's just how I look at the game. Not to take nothing away from them, but there is levels to rings. They're not all created equal. And nor does it define a player completely. You could play on a trash team and really not have everything around you need to win. So my thing has never been KD had to stay in OKC to play with Westbrook. He could have chose to go anywhere else. But going to Golden State, that was the one move we was like, nah, you might as well went to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Back then to play with LeBron, because it was that stacked against everybody else, so I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.